A lot of people ask me, okay, imagine you have two specs. Maybe the first spec gets something from the page, for example, gets a title. And then you want to use that information in another spec. How do you save it? How do you save the data from the first spec and assume that it always runs first before the spec B? We want to use this information. Well, I have Cypress open. I'm invoking text, so I'm getting the Cypress tips and tricks. And now I need to store it somewhere so that when I close this browser and open spec B, that information is there. The best solution is to use my plugin Cypress Data Session. If you cannot use it, the simpler solution is to store that piece of data in a process that is preserved while you close the browser. The process that is preserved while you close the browser is the plugins file. It's the one that opens this initial desktop GUI of Cypress. Notice when you run Cypress open or Cypress run, that's the first thing that appears. That's where you can store the data. That's what saves the data in between the browser closing and opening. Okay, here's how we do it. In our plugins file, we'll define an object or a variable to keep the data. We'll say data. Then we'll say on task, and we'll just define two tasks. Save data x. Okay. We'll say data, and maybe give it a name, but okay. Say title equals x. And because every task has to return something, we'll return at least null. And we'll say load, and we'll return data title or null, so that we never return undefined. Okay, perfect. So when we finish extracting the text, we get the text, and we'll say side task save and text. Now to make it obvious inside our plugin, let's just print what we are saving. Console log title. And here we'll say console log returning data title. Okay, let's open the first spec. It goes to the page, grabs the title, calls by task. Let's look at our output. And right here, the plugins process that runs in Node prints what it saved. Now in spec B, the first thing we want to do is task load. That will give us the title, which we can use in our site contains command. I'm going to close the browser. I'm going to go to the second spec. It calls task load and then gets the title from the plugins process and uses it to confirm that it's visible on this page. So this is fast and dirty way to preserve some data between the specs.